Good morning, everyone. My name is Colin Keenan. This is Creating Virtual Realities from Home, and we've opened the room up. I'm just going to go off mic for a moment to allow some of our registered members to join us here in this room. So I'm just going to give this about 60 seconds. But thank you to anyone who's here with us early, or right on time, really, which is early online. Today we're going to be building a lot of avatars, custom avatars for collaborative conversations online, allowing some nonverbal feedback. Um, and I'm really excited to look at some different tools. This will build off of our first couple of weeks here on stream. But if you haven't seen any of that instruction, it's absolutely will not be required viewing. We're going to be able to jump right into a tool called Mozilla Hubs that we'll be using quite a bit today. But again, I'm going to go off mic for just about a minute here to allow anyone to join us here at the top of the hour. But thanks for being here early. All right, and now that we have our group with us, a reminder to anyone who is registered for this workshop via NCSU. Feel free to use either the Twitch forum here that you see within your viewer window, or to go with the separate forum that we have established via Google Chat. Today, we are going to be building something of a follow-up to what we looked at last week in our last session, where, just as a reminder, we built a collaborative um, pizza democracy machine, I think we were calling it, which is a pretty nice branded name, if you ask me. So last week, we built a space where users could, via Mozilla Hubs, open up their own room within Hubs and could then choose their custom scene that we all built together. It was our pizza democracy machine here. And by walking around this room, once it's loaded up, by walking around this room, users were able to, with their 3D avatar, indicate which pizza topping they were in support of. Pretty cool way to show show crowd preference amongst a lot of different choices, which is often a really difficult decision-making process. This exact example is something that we've all probably encountered in the past. Um, but I think a situation I found myself in even more often is the giving some sort of comment on a topic, or having a conversation about a topic via video chat, and not having a great indication of how people are feeling about that, about what you're saying, or about how their perceptions of information that you're all taking in together in real time. So this would get especially difficult, I think, as things start to scale to 100-person conversations, or things that video chat even maybe isn't that great at. So I wanted to use this as an example for today, for us to chase down as something that we could work on for this hour. A reminder: what we typically do in this hour is we find a good example project that manifests itself in extended reality in one way or another, and then we chase it down for about 60 minutes and we see how much progress we can make. Um, this is the kind of activity that we might do for a specific uh, user issue or a specific user need through the libraries, in our technology consultation service, which you can find at lib.ncsu.edu/tech consultation. And I'm just going to throw that link into our meeting document today. And this is all by way of familiarizing you with our go.ncsu.edu/Twitch folder that you see on the sidebar there. unfortunately not a clickable link. I have to type it in, but very useful to follow along. Any links that I'll be using today, any services or sites or images that I'll want us to all have access to, I'm going to put in our meeting notes or in that folder itself. So definitely a great place to follow along if you want to really make sure you can come back and understand this information later. Um, so I'm just going to put our tech consultation link at the top of that note document. And so what we'll be doing today is essentially as if a user wanted to do some multi-user XR work. We'll use Hubs as a platform to spin us up for that. Um, a little bit of background about what Mozilla Hubs is. This is a service that obviously provides full VR functionality in the web browser. Allows image manipulation, multi-user chat, custom avatars, which is one of the features we'll be dealing with a lot today. You can see that we have a custom avatar linked here. If I click this avatar, click it, and now you can see what I look like is a pizza. So I inherited the avatar that I clicked on just to show you what another avatar would look like. Set name and avatar in our sidebar, browse avatars, and I'll change myself back to change into my work clothes, my Ask Us desks. And you can see here, the avatar has changed. So that's something that we can really take advantage of, right? This 3D forum that we have and this 3D space that we can co-occupy with other users. The avatar is a form of communication that we have access to. So that's one of the things we're really going to play with today. Um, so with that idea in mind of getting kind of good, bad reactions, emotional reactions, in that Twitch folder link that you see in the sidebar, I've actually included a couple of images in that Google Drive folder. And I have an emotional scale image. Bring this over and show you. We have this series of faces. I thought that maybe 5 avatars feels about right to me for this demo of being able to get a range of people's reactions to something. I also have, and maybe there are cases where you want an up-down vote. We can make some up-down avatars. So at most, maybe we'll make like 5 to 7 different avatars today. And the place we're going to do that is at a site called TryQuiltio, and I believe that's already linked in our note document here. I will go over and make sure that's the case. It is, but man, I need to bring it higher up in the page. So let's put that there. You can see TryQuiltio is now linked in our note document. Let's make sure we turn that into a link. There we go. And you can see it up on my screen. So here's an avatar that looks quite a bit like the one that we just got familiar with in our other screen. Um, it might ask you if you'd like to allow virtual reality access if your browser has ever used a VR headset before. So I'm going to click don't allow. I don't have a headset hooked up, but I don't think it would be very entertaining for you all to watch me use it. So here at on our TryQuilt page, I'm going to go over to our Google Doc and I'm going to download, start with that emotional scale faces image. Download that onto my machine. I think I might actually already have it in recently downloading it. I can drag and drop either from your file manager, from your OS file manager interface, or from your in-browser kind of downloads folder, wherever is easier you like to grab stuff from. Click and drag that over, and this is really cool. I'm just going to drag that image onto the avatar, and it kind of despawns the, or it doesn't perceive the background, the default overlay anymore, which is really just there to show you where all the planar faces are. See all of these, um, this outline that we're dealing with that I've underlaid my image onto or beneath, has all of the different polygons, the polygonal shapes that make up an avatar within Mozilla Hubs. And so By moving an image around on this avatar, you can obviously see in real time uh, you're manipulating the texture of that avatar. So there's lots you can do with this. You can pretty quickly see what correlates with what. I think you can see the face up here pretty easily. And if you you can scale the image you're dealing with. So let's try to overlay one of these faces right onto this robot's face. An angry robot. Hope to never see. Yeah, look at that. So you can do that. I actually kind of like that look. So let's drag our same image on again. I guess the thing I don't like about it is that his face shows up on the back, but great about that really. Um, yeah, let's drag our same image on again, and you can scale it once again. And I think the head and chest are really the thing that draw your attention. Like play that same face like that, and then see that's pretty clearly someone who's not very happy about what they're hearing in this conversation, or have been asked to give a reaction maybe to an idea that they don't particularly like. Cool. Um, and you can see that once I brought a second image in over here, we we gained in our roster of images that are being used within the avatar generation and the avatar materials. We gained another member there, and so we have the emotional scale faces image twice in that roster. And one you can see, I don't think this is a great example of this concept, so I'm actually going to bring the third image in, and within that Twitch stream folder, you'll see an image called, very descriptively named, "Good versus Bad: Thumbs Against Green and Red Backgrounds." So let's see what that image looks like. Hey, I didn't lie to you. So you can scale yourself out from that. This is actually a 3D viewer window. It's kind of funny because it really looks like a 2D interface at first. This is, yeah, you can it's, I don't know actually, maybe if it's 3D. Nonetheless, you can scale out from this viewer and this generator and get a lot better vantage at some of this. So you can see that you can actually manipulate the angle that things are showing at. So you could have red thumbs up, green thumbs down if you wanted. A little confusing, but pretty useful for trying to get wide coverage of the avatar body, or trying to get something out of the frame. That's going to probably be too large, but something like this. Just doing a little scaling here. So that's a pretty disapproving avatar there. And you can see we're using a transparent image. This is a .png file. Um, .pngs, I'm going to get this wrong, but they essentially have 8 bits of 8 transparent bits in addition to their, I think PNGs are 32-bit. I could be wrong about that. I'd have to look that up. But they either have 16 or 24 bits of color, of color bits that they can. If anyone knows that, let me know in the chat because I'd love to get educated on that. Um, but essentially, they have the option for pixels to render as transparent, so they have pass through. Something that people sometimes don't realize is how easy it can be to find images that utilize this. So I think I might have even just searched thumbs down and then go to image search, and under tools on image search, Google calls this a really weird thing. You can go to tools, color. Oh no, they do call it transparent now. Okay, they used to call that, yeah, whatever. It's cool. That's a better thing to call that. But you can choose transparent, and all of these images, the white that you're seeing is actually a transparency. Or I'd imagine that, it's confusing sometimes because, yeah, so this checkerboard, when you go into the spec, shows that this is a transparent image behind it. Um, there are the rare pranksters on the internet who will put these checkered backgrounds behind images that are not transparent. Great watermarking idea. Cool. And back over here, that reminds me, I do need to put citations to these two images into our notes doc. I'll probably do that once we're offline today. All right. Well, I think we have our first candidate uh, avatar. I think it's pretty clear what this represents when you look at it, which is like the goal of iconography, right? So we're going to. This is interesting. We don't download the entire 3D model of the avatar. We actually Hubs uses a really clever system where all the avatars um, come from one of three base meshes that are available. And you can load custom avatars just like kind of unbounded into Hubs using use Blender, pretty much any 3D editor to make avatars that can be loaded in as .glb files. We're not going to touch on that as much today. You can see I did use a custom avatar earlier. I will pass along a really cool tool for making these custom avatars, though. It's made by Rhiannon Berry, University of Georgia. And I'm just going to drop this in as another tool. Try. We won't use this as much today, but this allows you to generate avatars that are human, um, with a wide array of different options for complexion, eye color. Um, very few hair color options, but you can really stretch them, and you can make custom shirts for these characters. Very cool. A little bit beside what we're trying to do today. Hey, thanks for the follow. And so we've got our disapproval negative fellow, and let's go ahead, and what we're actually going to do is download the texture that we've generated. So what we've been doing this whole time is just making an image. So it's now going to render just a simplified, not worrying about stacking or transparency or anything version of this same texture with uh, black stays black. I don't think black becomes transparent. So we're going to do this export, and this wants to save itself, I believe, as a PNG again. So I'm going to save file, and let's start a little collection here. Within our Twitch folder, I am going to make one called avatars. Let's call them motion avatars. And I'm right now going to, let's actually, we'll rename that over in the, so I've just moved a texture over into emotion avatars. And that'll be our first emotion. And now I think we might be able to pretty much just move these faces along. So okay, and we've moved our orange over. I don't like that. I don't think that looks good. I don't know if we need the thumb on all of these. I think that might just need to be present on a couple. That looks a little bit too much like a deep fried like meme Facebook meme format for me with the all the colors. But as a proof of concept, I think that's good. You can see we have the little bit of bleed over that we know about on the back. But I think that gives a reaction, the orange without the thumbs down. That's cool. So I'm going to export that. And again, now I'm just going to move them all over at the end. This is me today, everybody. I'm the no emotion yellow fist today. Yeah, the chest one does a lot more of the heavy lifting on these. That might just work because of the exact placement of the mouth looks right. Yep. Let's export that again. And this is probably going to be the most boring part of the stream as we just get our materials made. Let's do that. Let's actually shrink that a little bit so I can get the face and make the eyes overlay. If anyone, while I'm doing this, has any suggestions for other reactions they would like to be able to make in the room, I was looking at that old "How do I feel today?" I don't know if anybody remembers like these in offices back in the day. This is the one I really remember. How are you feeling today? This is like a classic. Put this in your syllabus kind of thing, or hang this in your office. I feel like I'd go to kids at work day and see a lot of those hanging in offices. But if you've got any other emotional reacts that you want in the or like user crowd custom reacts that we'd like to be able to do via avatar, just throw it in the chat. You want to be able to say I'm nervous or something like that. I don't quite have that how I want. Oh, that's good enough. That, that. And then our final, where we're going to bring back the thumb, I'd imagine. Works pretty well, actually. Oh, no, I moved it just so I was. There we go. And neat. Let's move all of these over into that folder. You'll see them pop up in the emotion avatars subfolder if you're watching along. And it's really interesting to actually look at the image before we load them in. Making sure I upload the all just very pretty much this. It's what we've been looking at here when they're unwrapped. They look very little like their eventual form when overlaid onto the avatar. I see 5 in the folder. That's great. Oh, and you know what? We were going to bring back our thumbs up for this, weren't we? Let's go grab that. Yeah. And okay, so textures. That's great. Let's go to Hubs and let's do something that we kind of blew through in our stream last week, but I think is a pretty cool technique. It's possible to incorporate these custom avatars into a room. Let's create a room. Probably going to drop some frames here whenever I get internet intensive and open these rooms or upload one of these rooms. It kind of strains the internet a bit, so bear with us. We're going to enter room, and we'll just enter this default room. That's fine. This is just what it loads up as the default now in Hubs. Very low poly, very nice, very manageable. We're not really going to interact with the room very much at all, though. We're going to go to the hamburger in the top left corner. We're going to set name and avatar. So you can see this is what I look like in Hubs right now. It's one of those custom avatars from the IEEE generator. Here's where you're going to click Browse Avatar. Then you're going to create avatar. It's important that you don't go to the avatar GLB URL yet or here. That's what I use to make, if you're uploading a custom 3D model you made in Maya or Blender, wherever, with the avatar generator, the IEEE one. But if you want to use a texture and wrap it around one of these default robot shapes, then you want to go to Create Avatar. And again, it gives you the option to do a custom GLB here. I should actually probably correct myself. if you want the avatar to save and get a URL and be hosted by Mozilla on their side, then you need to use this interface, I think. I'm gonna click on, I think we were designing around this figure here without the flay at the hips. So we'll use that again. See that you can move them around. This is that view that we were used to seeing when we were using Quilt. And here I'm going to upload a base map. And you can see that I have many of my images become available to me in my download folder. Very convenient. And we'll be able to upload them one by one and name them. So there's, I'll know who that is. I don't know what to call this. Maybe one no or 0.no. No, I don't know. Negative. Let's call that negative. No. I don't think we need to allow promotion or remixing of this. Attribution, I actually do. Yeah, let's save and go back and edit. Do that again for our other avatars. And excuse the frame drops as I do those uploads. It's going to probably keep happening a little bit. So we're going to open up another. It's neutral. Started naming them kind of in number order as well, but yeah. Our fourth. Oh, and you can see if you impose that texture onto the wrong avatar type, it looks pretty wacky because it samples from like a totally different section of the image. So down to the left here. See here we're and our last, we'll have our fifth avatar here, and then we can explain the methods to this madness. So make sure to use the correct avatar shape. We'll call this great, or we'll call this positive, great, 5, save. Okay, cool. So load. Awesome. So now you'll see we have these 5 avatars, and I'm just going to idle that in a background tab, and we're going to come back to them. This is our cooking show moment. Just don't forget they're there. We're going to go to a link that is linked in the notes within the document over there in the Twitch folder for today, which is hubs.mozilla.com/spoke. I think you can go straight through to that projects button, and this is we're going to start. Let's go back up to the Spoke homepage. Hubs.mozilla.com/spoke. I'm going to click Get Started. If you have used Hubs before, or if you used Spoke before, you're likely logged into your user account. Just make sure that's the case. If you want to come back to these sketches that you have and these spaces that you're working on later, then you're going to want to be logged into an account. It doesn't actually require that you log in, which is cool, but you can lose work that way. And so just take a moment to log in. It's just going to ping you at your email, and you'll just have to confirm your access to that email address. And we are going to do, Do we want to take advantage of our past scene? Yeah, let's do it. We're gonna jump in. So you know what? I totally lied to everyone. I think the better way for us to get here would be, let me grab a little link and we can remix our scene from past weeks. I think that'd be cool. So let's go wire that URL. Cool. Throw that. That is going to go in our assets used. Actually, say remix this scene and see we have some folks following along there. And I've just put a big old link there. So let's all follow over to that. And if you're following along and want to make your own room, that won't be necessary. I'm trying to get us through the creation of this room in the next 10 minutes, so we'll have time to actually test the room out and I'll hop into it. So when you go to that URL, you'll see that you have the opportunity to spin up a room um, from that template that we created last week. I'm going to forego that opportunity and instead edit in Spoke. For you, it likely will say remix and Spoke. This is a room I own, so I think it shows edit. But you could just remix it and um, have your own version of that room. Additionally, if you followed along last week and have a room that you made with us, or you've made pretty much any Hubs room ever, I think this entire thing we're doing is about to work in it. So it's not very specific to what we built last week being necessary for it. Just want to take advantage of stuff we've done before. Okay, so let's think about some logistics here. How do we see people actually using this? I think you might have a situation where you'd have a speaker. I think we have all this seating that we have available to us. And you'd have a situation where you'd have a speaker in front, people wanting to change their avatar in reaction to that speaker, and what the speaker is saying, or the speaker asking for reaction via people changing their avatar. So I think we want big old buttons that make it so you can just become that avatar at any point. And we might want them, you don't see other people's cursors in Hubs, which is something we could take advantage of. Because it wouldn't feel like people are shining laser lights at the presenter if they're missing the cursor, if or missing the button. If we put these maybe along the sides or along the top. Um, so let's start bringing these in as links, and then we'll start thinking about arrangement of that. So we're going to go into our elements here, which is our first option in the assets panel. This is all our options of different types of media and types of interaction that can be brought in, essentially off the shelf with Hubs. So I'm going to go to link, and yes, it didn't give me very good control over where that went, but I'm just going to put one of these default size links this side of the monitor. You know what? I take it back. We're not going to determine the links before placing the buttons. Let's figure that out. So I was in the back row, which is really the user we want to worry about. Front row is going to be fine. Say I have like this vantage essentially. That is achievable to click that button, but we're going to need it on both sides, I think. I have my defaults on in Hubs. I'm going to change to a more fine grid to snap to. Do like 90-degree angles for this though. So I think that's pretty clickable. Totally not from there. Oh, is that actually behind the monitor? Is that why? Yes, it is. Okay. And at what point drop below? So I think probably good. And then I'm gonna Control C here. Obviously, make a copy. A Control V that right above it. Now I'm only going to manipulate the Y from. We want to keep in mind like this looks like it would look good, but it's going to change color when you have like the actual avatar in there, and they'll center pretty much, but you don't want too much overlap. Um, Now I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to click both of these links. Oh, it's okay. No worries. I can hold Shift and click them one by one. I can right click. Oh, I'm doing this wrong. I'm going to hold Shift, click them one by one, go over to the hierarchy view where we have our roster of everything that's in the scene. I'm going to right click, duplicate. Then, while they're still highlighted, remove the originals. Cool. So we've got a stack of these 4 links here. Sure, if we'll be able to get 5. Well, get our last one, and I'm just going to do a duplicate of this one. Great. So now we have these 5 links. Let's use something that I don't think we've used in Hubs in these first couple of streams, which is the grouping feature. I want to do it again. Tell somebody's been in a different engine a little bit. So we've got our 5 links here stacked on top of each other. They'll highlight in the hierarchy view. You lose them. Here we go. And I'm going to right click and group. So now I could these as a group. Control Z to move. But more importantly, I can duplicate that group. So now be able to move one of these groups way to the other side. Let's get like a top view because symmetry is going to matter here. So this line bisects exactly through the monitor. So I'm counting like 3 clicks. And I say symmetry is going to be important, but oh yeah, that's pretty perfect. Really, so it doesn't drive me nuts. Okay, we have our 10 links here. I imagine we'll do like positive to negative on one side and negative to positive on the other side, because then you'd have access to the thing that's too low for you maybe to reach would be high on the other. Just a quality of life sort of thing. So, hey, remember I told you that we'd come back to this? This is that point. So we're on that page of custom avatars. Um, I'm going to start a little list here. Say we made custom avatars to show audience response. So here they are. Let's do and cool. If you're following in the notes, you probably understood what I was just doing, but sorry for becoming completely silent. We've made a list with our, I'm actually gonna move my notes over here. Yeah, that's cool. That'll be a lot more useful to you. I've got a list of the 5 avatars we made. And we're now gonna acquire the links that they are actually linked at, because these do have actual locations on the web. WebXR is so cool because it's built for multi-usability, and because the internet is like only built for multi-usability. It's like the thing it's built for, right? It's even if those multi-users are actually just like different clients on different sides of the internet, or 2 devices talking to each other. It's meant for interaction of multiple things across the network. So like really opportune for a lot of the things we want the social web to be, or social XR to be. So these all have links, and let's start acquiring those. So I'm going to right click on this positive grade and go copy link location and drop that in the document. If you click those links, you're not going to like see them in a viewer. I'm just going to download the file. Um, so you can acquire all these. This is why I didn't bother to put those files in earlier, because these are essentially just links to those file locations. And you see these are hosted at the avatar hubs.mozilla.com/avatar, I believe. I think this is just like the coolest feature. You can see I have a lot of custom avatars loaded into here. I had a birthday party for a friend where we um, made, I think, like a dozen different custom avatars of all different T-shirts that he wears. Just like a really nice vehicle for lots of like kind of, it fits what you need it to fit. Like we could very easily build that classroom like emotional check-in, or like meeting emotional check-in avatar system and make it easier for people. You could give people numbered avatars. I don't know if you've ever tried on a Zoom call saying, "Oh, let's go around the room," and no one knows who's second. You could like give an order of response avatars, do lots of stuff. So we've got our 5 links here, and let's go back and incorporate those. So I'm going to click back to my spoke window, and I'll do this maybe. It's probably pretty confusing if you're following along in the stock. See it on your screen twice, but just want my URLs available to me. That's nice. Okay. So we said we were going to go like, let's go negative to positive, positive to negative. Um, so grab that great avatar. That here. So we're going to use the URL field, which is unfilled right now. It's link for me. I'm not going to cite those numbers because they're nonsensical, really. But okay, so that's occupied. And let's do bottom on the other side. Let's go back and timing is working out nicely on this. We're going to be able to get into that room and spin around in hubs together. Try to come up with some statements that we could test via that we know everyone will feel one way or another about. Some controls. Okay, here's our bad reaction. Second to highest box on my right side. Second to lowest box left side. Final one. This is the kind of thing I screw up if I try to do while talking, so I'm very curious if we're going to see like 10 gray boxes in here or something. But bottom, the worst reaction on the left. Worst reaction goes to the top. And should be good. Let's think if there's anything else I want to put in. I don't think there is. So what we can do for the rest of our session here is let's test it out and see if it works. I'm going to publish this to Hubs. So I'll walk through that process. Let's click that publish to Hubs. And from what I remember last week, this was a pretty optimized scene that we had built. So let's see what our report card looks like. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we actually go from green to yellow on some of these indicators, and that's a cool teaching moment. So each one of these links that we added in is actually its own material, because the link it's like a separate like texture image that can be manipulated around. So it's like the same. It has to be its own material. So we added 10 materials into this seed by adding 10 links, and that's putting us over this flag for number of unique materials. I'm not worried about that at all. They're going to they're going to be fine. They're really low res materials, but it will flag it, and that's like a flag that you'll often end up on the wrong side of for that reason. You might know a little bit better than the computer does. So I appreciate that flag being there, but we're not going to really worry about it. Um, I'm interested that we added a little file size. That's interesting, but this all looks good. We're only using one dynamic light. We're keeping it really low poly. Um, this video RAM number is great. So I'm going to click publish scene, but as I do that, I'm actually going to go mic off for a moment because if I speak through this upload process, it's not going to sound very good. So I'll be right back with you, and we'll have ourselves a hub scene that we're able to occupy. All right. So our scene is ready, and we can pull that out of the oven. Let's go view your scene. And I'm also, I think we're just going to file, save project. Let's leave that idled in the background in case I really screwed that up and we need to go back. Let's do a little cleanup. We got to remember we do have an open hubs room from where we were using to see the URLs of the avatars. So let's close that. I had this other one that we used to remix out to the scene we just did. Let's clean that up. Cool. So we are in this Twitch 7.1 voting. Oh, actually, you know what? I edited the actual link, so I'll have that link already in the scene. So, but I'll. Oh no, it changes the URL. I'm learning things about Hubs right here on stream. So it actually, no, it doesn't. I'm not learning anything. Okay, testing our scene. At the bottom of our notes doc, I'm going to drop that link. You can see our scene there, but I actually need to post the link to our live active room. So that's a template that we just built that anyone can use anytime. If you want to come back and test this little exercise we're about to do out later with people, you can totally do that. You can do that at that test our scene. But our live active room is about to open. So I'm going to enter this room, and you can see now that it's tracking my voice on Hubs as well. I am likely going to mute my Hubs window, so I won't be able to hear anything anyone says in the room. That's just to avoid feedback on my Twitch stream. You'll all be able to hear each other probably. So I'm gonna go over to the front of the room, and what do I look like right now? Cool, I'll look like that. That's fine. I'm stuck with it in real life. And I'm going to share. I am going to copy this link. If any of you prefer to want to use a VR headset, you can go to hub.link and punch that number in so you don't have to type a URL, which is a huge quality of life improvement for users, I think. There's our live active room. I've just put a link to it in the document, and I will close this and wait for some people to arrive. Let's look around at what this looks like from an audience perspective. I am going to mute that tab. So if you say hello as you walk in, like I just saw Steven join the lobby there. If you talk to me in the room, I will not be able to hear you. Turn it on after the stream is over, though. So let's see these buttons are pretty clickable if you just know what that. You can't read that text really, but pretty good. You could sit in any of these seats. You can press the space bar in Hubs to see the seats that I've like designated where they should be. So you can take a seat. Hello, and yeah, you'll be able to. Cool. And so I can see someone has used our custom avatar. Yeah, nice. Oh, they have. Is that your own? Did you make that? Oh, that's awesome. So I can see they're feeling pretty neutral there. And I'll say, let's say some things that I can get some reaction to. So, everybody, I'm thinking of ordering a pizza. How do people feel about ordering a pizza? Just use the emotion buttons next to me here. Might still feel neutral about it. Guys, I was thinking we'd get the pizza, we'd order it burnt to a crisp. We would have them just leave it in the oven for at least 45, 50 minutes. Oh, it seems okay. Maybe that's a response to the pizza idea. What do you think about my idea to get the burnt sauce? Oh, you don't like that idea. Okay. Um, well, maybe. Well, let's say. Give me a thumbs up if you'd like us to get cheese on our not burnt pizza. Give me a thumbs down if you don't want any cheese on it. Nice. Yeah, so you can see there's like a little lag there, but like that's definitely if you had a big group of people, you could wait 15 seconds and get a reaction to kind of survey the crowd a little bit, I think. That would work well enough. Um, and thanks for playing along with me there, for helping with those reactions. Um, Cool. I can see we have some more people joining the room. Let's do some more questions, and I'm probably just gonna keep doing this little question game right through the end of the hour. So maybe I should say my thank you to everybody right now. Thanks for tuning in today in this stream with us. Thanks for building. As always, anything we built during today's stream is totally open for you to use for whatever. Uh, oh, okay. Yeah, a little. Right, that would be feedback on your side too. I'm actually gonna mute that tab again. Maybe that'll help you. Um, but yeah, these sessions will continue. We'll be using Twitch as a venue for workshops through the fall. We expect, um, and we'll be doing all sorts of cool stuff here. So keep tuning in as we really spin up the NC State Libraries on these streaming services, where we're excited to get to do these kinds of really cool experiments together. And keep your eye out. We'll be scheduling some more of these sessions in particular. Uh, the creating virtual realities from home sessions. And um, my name is Colin Keenan. Thanks for tuning in today. I'll be I see some reactions. They don't like the new sessions. um, cool. Well, I'm gonna cut the stream off here. We got about 5 minutes to remain in the hub. If you want to come hang out with us, I'll be there for at least 5-10 minutes. But thanks for tuning in today, everybody. Have a great afternoon.